say, go the Library of Science and Medicine.
That looks good, right?
Yeah, it should be fine, inshallah. They
Here,
can
Heba,
probably
let's
hear
start.
us.
Let's start.
No
We're like way
problem. Okay,
behind.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say.
Okay, Fatma, go ahead, start.
Yeah, sure. Am I allowed to? Like, are they?
No, grab it.
Because I don't want my big head taking up the camera.
You're fine. Can you move your chair this way?
Yeah. Wait, so should we have her? I can move completely, Heba.
No, this is fine.
Okay.
Will you be like? No, you're not.
Assalamualaikum everyone. Alright, so my name is Fatma. I'm a coordinator on this spirit team. How's everyone doing today?
Good.
Spirit event, so you guys have to move around. Okay, so if it's your first time here at Poe-Tea, let me give you a little brief description. It's basically an open mic night where we listen to some great pieces like spoken word, comedy, and some extra poems we'll actually have for you guys for promotion. So after intermission, we'll open the stage for anyone who wants to build up the courage to come up here and perform whatever you want. Just make sure we keep everyone missed. And I also think it's a great opportunity for everyone who wants to get over their stage fright or whatever. And then just make sure you guys stay till the end because we will have a little giveaway that we have planned for you guys. And for right now, we're gonna start this event with a Quran recitation and the prayer.
Assalamualaikum everyone. I'm going to be reciting the last 10 ayahs of Surah Al-Imran if anyone wants to follow along. Please do forgive me if I make any mistakes. I know classes, so just let that be. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار لآيات لأولي الألباب الذين يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم ويتفكرون في خلق السماوات والأرض ربنا ما خلقت هذا باطلا سبحانك وقنا عذاب النار ربنا إنك من تغفر لنا فقد أخزيته وما للظالمين من أنصار ربنا إننا سمعنا مناديا ينادي للإيمان أن آمنوا بربكم فآمنا ربنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر واتقوا الله لعلكم تفلحون. صلى الله عليه وسلم. So the reason I decided to recite these verses is there's this hadith narrated by Bilal. He was like a servant in the house of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And one time he was with Aisha, his beloved and the mother of the believers. And so they were together, and he was expressing his love for Aisha. And he was saying, "Oh, Aisha, I love you, but I love my Allah, and I need to go pray." And so she said, "Oh Rasulullah, Ya Rasulullah, I love you and you may go." And so he stood and he prayed throughout the whole night. And so when they would check on him, he wouldn't be moving. He was standing there the whole time in this one rak'ah, right? And he's there, and it's almost Fajr time at this point. And Bilal was like, "Ya Rasulullah, what's going on?" He sees Rasulullah, right? And he stood in shock. He's seeing his face, his eyes are swollen. His beard, mashallah, there's some bachelor with some beard that I don't know. His beard is full with like tears, right? You can see the tears falling off his face. And that's when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had revealed to him this ayah. And if you guys want to follow along, it is ayah 190. And it is surely in the creation of the heavens and the earth and the alternation of night and day, there are signs for the people of wisdom. SubhanAllah. In this ayah, right, there's so much to unpack, right? This theme of perseverance and resilience and taking risks and having courage is such a beautiful topic, right? Because within it of itself, there are signs from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? We wouldn't appreciate, the good if there were no trials, right? And here in these ayahs, Allah specifically says, perseverance, right? The word that's specifically used for perseverance in these ayahs, right? In ayah, like the last one, 200, right? It means constant. Like the root word that comes down to the word constant. Right? And so what is it, right? It's a constant drive. There's a constant purpose that's being made through this, right? So perseverance doesn't just come in just, trial and tribulation. Perseverance comes in all shapes and forms, right? Perseverance comes within school, within family, whatever matters you're dealt with. Allah here is saying, right? Night and day, whatever time it is, there will be trials. There will be something you're facing. And you're going to have to persevere, right? It's a character within our youth that we should constantly contribute to and continue to instill within our hearts, right? Between life and death, right? Is that not its own trial, right? When someone is being born, right? Is that not an alteration, right? Isn't that not perseverance of, our mothers who gave birth to us, right? The child, see that? It's almost on the verge of death. I'm literally quoting Captain Baser here. It's the verge of death. Your mother's on the verge of death here. And new life is being straight into. Isn't it surely the signs of Allah, right? And so all of this is connected back to perseverance. Right? Perseverance is that will, that drive that you're going to continue to have. You're going to have to instill that throughout your daily life, right? And here, that's what Allah is saying, to turn back to Allah, right? Because ultimately, all of this will come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All good is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you come to Him, and inshallah, you will find that within the room. That's all I have to say. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. So next up, we have Amna to present total presentation for what this is and what it's about. have a pun for everything you can think of. This stands for Muslim Interscholastic Tournament. This is a national organization that devotes towards youth empowerment, helping the community, creating a positive Islamic environment, and guiding high schoolers toward professionalism. Now, how can a tournament do all that? Every year, each participating state hosts a regional tournament with competitions to challenge these concepts. If you want to compete in Miss New Jersey 2022, our registration committee gives information on like what your school needs to do, what your MSA needs to do to provide information and register. Amal, she's on registration. Put your questions towards her. Alright, see? Alright, so before we start with the presenters, here's just a couple rules for the event today. Please be respectful to the presenters by avoiding talking during presentations. Please keep your phones on silent. Snaps, no claps. And please maintain your environment and keep it clean. And as I mentioned before, we do have a little giveaway. We are going to have a QR code. Or
no, Fatima, if you sign it up front, then you're already automatically in the giveaway. So
okay, there you go. And then last but not least, feel free to grab food and drinks. Oh, and there's some t-shirts. They are $5, and we have some money. Okay, and so our first presenter would be Malik. Is the second coolest one. All right, second coolest one.
So I'm supposed to be a funny guy, and I have to do a stand-up thing. You're supposed to laugh. It's a big one. I have that script because I'm not a professional stand-up comedian, so I have to look at this every once in a while. But this is all a true story, so a lot of this stuff is just real. But yeah, let's get it done. Where's your voice? Hello. Hello. It was a late Tuesday night, one of those nights where everything kind of went bad, to be very honest. I had a physics class at that time. In that physics class, it didn't go. But I'm a commuter, so I drive to college and back home. And my drive home on campus is an average of like 30 minutes. And so this drive wasn't like any other drive because I was upset. But it was a special drive because something special happened. When people are in a bad mood, something happens. They begin thinking. They think about a lot of stuff. And I'm a pretty energetic and straightforward guy. Usually when I meet someone for the first time, I say, Assalamu alaikum, I'm Malik, or hi, in this case, because they might not be Muslim. But hi, I'm Malik, or Malik. I'm the coolest person you will ever know. Now, besides the point that I'm speaking straight facts, I thought to myself, okay, what if I didn't say I'm the coolest person? What if I said I'm the second coolest person? Okay, then who's first? I'm sitting in my car driving. Who's first? So I thought about it for a bit, but it happened almost spontaneously. As I was just sitting there, in fact, it happened so quickly that while I was sitting in my car driving, I screamed this. You! What? Whoever? I'm sorry. Whoever I'm talking to, I have to say that first coolest person. I'm the second coolest person you'll ever know, but you are the first coolest person. Now, if that's not smooth, I don't know what. But obviously, the first thing I did once I got back home is I texted the boys. I have to let them know. This is a genius idea, right? You walk up to someone and say, I'm the second coolest person, they're like, who? Who's the first? You're like, yeah, you, right? So I text the boys, and I walked in feeling like I was some legend, some Einstein. And I left feeling like a clown. Because the first thing I got back from the text was a clap, clap, clap. The most sarcastic clapping emojis you'll ever see. Because holy crap, they just make fun of me because they're like, no, that's not gonna work, bro. LOL. That's cool. LOL. Man, if you're so stupid, bro, no one's gonna listen to this, and they're just gonna stare at you once you ask them this question. So yeah, it kind of hurt, but I was determined to prove them wrong. I was determined to become the #1 hero, determined to become like Lucky Balboa. I was the underdog that was going to defeat the champion, and I was going to prove them wrong. And lo and behold, my first chance came up. You know, when I first signed up to be a Miss Organizer, I didn't know that the male to female ratio was going to be like 5 to 1. Oh no, my bad. I was like, female to male, because it's 5 females to male. Like the ratio is. So I walked into the meeting, our first general team meeting, not knowing what to expect. And I walked up to my boy Edmund. Shout out to Edmund, yeah, okay. And one of the first things he tells me, very inspirational, you're 1 of 6. Like, wait, one of 6 what? He's like, you're 1 of 6 guys. Excuse me. And so I look around the room, okay, right now, and there's like this big area in the middle where all the girls sit. And Edmund points at like this small corner in the room, he's like, that's the boys' area. I'm like, there's only 6? He's like, yeah. I said, no, there's 5. I don't want that. But obviously I went back in, otherwise I wouldn't be on the stage. So like, let me real quickly open back my notes because I forgot what I was supposed to say. Right. So given that there's only 6 of us, I actually didn't know anyone on the team. So we were only starting to get to know each other, excuse me. And we had this little chat with just the 6 of us. And it was the most perfect timing because they were talking once I just finished talking with the boys. After the boys made fun of me and clowned me because my idea is genius, but they just can't see the geniusness. I realized this was the most perfect chance ever because we're still talking to each other, still getting to know each other. So I talked to my boy Ahmed there, who unfortunately is not here, but shout out to my boy Ahmed. And I say this in all caps. Assalamu alaikum, Ahmed. I'm the second coolest person you'll ever know. I'm Ned. Nice to meet you. Who's first? That would be you, my friend. And that was like the smoothest thing I ever saw in text. I was like, oh my gosh, this looks amazing. Because it was an idea that like I had in my head and I never actually used it until that moment. I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane. And then after reading it, I was like, okay, you guys have to gas me because that was pretty smooth. But this amazing introduction would not be limited just to this. I apply it in like my every single day life, and whoever I interacted with, I just brought this up, especially when I first met them. So yeah. Now before I continue, I just want to let you know that everything I said this at the beginning, everything I'm talking about right now is true. Like it actually happened. And everything that I talk about is also true. So just understand that I actually didn't have to think about making a stand-up comedy routine. I just have to think about my life. Like my life is pretty fun. But as long as you guys have that down, we'll move on. So, right, okay. So after this, let's talk about philosophy, yeah? I take a philosophy course. I took a philosophy course, and I'm still taking it. I'm still taking it over this semester. So I have to talk about the boring stuff first, because I guess it's boring, right? So the whole course is done over Slack. Now, for those of you who don't know Slack, it's like a giant Discord. It's like horrible. So basically, like companies, I don't know why companies use this and not Discord, but they use Slack. And they use Slack, right? So does this class. And it's weird, right? Because the whole class is done over Slack. And the class meets every Monday and Wednesday. And on Mondays, we have our Monday activities with our teams. Like our teams, we meet together on Slack and we have like an activity, a puzzle that we have to solve and we get points for. And then on Wednesdays, we optionally meet on Zoom, so we discuss what's being taught in the course, etc. And so my team agreed to meet on Wednesdays. And one last thing, also our teams get switched halfway through the semester, which is going to be very important. Very important. Later on in the story, in like 1 minute, if I explain it correctly. Yeah, I think that will be 1 minute. But basically, for the first couple of weeks, so the team switched halfway through the semester. So for the first couple of weeks, our team isn't doing that bad, it isn't doing that good, you know, like kind of mediocre, right? Monday activities were, they worked. And Wednesday as well, some people would show up, not most, because obviously it's optional, so it's like, why would we go on Zoom if it's optional? But one fateful week, we kind of nailed the Monday activity. Like, we just nailed it. Like, we did really good. And then later that Wednesday, everyone showed up to the Zoom. That's kind of weird, right? Because it's optional and no one ever showed up, ever. But anyways, most of us didn't know each other. Most of us didn't know each other because we're just some random people took this course and got grouped together by luck, fortune. Yeah, and so the way most Wednesday calls would go is that we talk about like what's happening in the course and how we can improve, and like, oh, how can we improve our Monday activities and get like better scores. But this Wednesday, literally no one would talk. It was kind of awkward because there's only me and one other guy that would talk, and we're trying to get the other people to talk, but no one's talking. It's like they're just sitting there on the Zoom with their cameras off, obviously, not recording. And it's just me and one other guy with the cameras on. We're trying, like, we have a conversation going with each other, but no one else is talking. We're trying to get the other people into the conversation. But I want to take a step back. You guys remember how I sounded like a pretty energetic and straightforward guy? That's a very true statement. It's 100% no cap, absolute facts, no printer. I'm very straightforward. I was so like angry for some reason that they weren't talking. So I just said, you know what, screw it. I literally said this for what did I say? Alright, yeah, this is what I said. I said, alright, let's be realistic. None of you guys are gonna talk. So screw it. We're not talking about this course, let's just talk for fun, right? And finally one of them unmutes. And they're like, Ben, what are we talking about? No, Dawson, like we're sitting here trying to get these people talking. This guy just, okay, fine, yeah, well, let's talk now. Okay, fine. Anyways, I decided we would talk about Taco Bell, and how Taco Bell's for fat people. No offense. Anyone likes Taco Bell, I'm sorry. It was just a method to try and get people to talk. I just said the bathrooms are stinky. Then I said, actually, you know what? I think that anyone that is considered fat should get free Taco Bell. And that got them talking. Some of the other people knew, and the conversation started from that. How? I don't know. Taco Bell. I guess if you guys are ever like in a social situation where you're talking, just talk about Taco Bell. I guess you people talk. But let me tell you this: this conversation went from Taco Bell to some weird stuff, and it lasted a whole hour and 20 minutes. For reference, our usual Wednesdays they last like 15 minutes. So like, I don't know what I did, but Taco Bell really seems to be like the go-to way to get like start a conversation. But what did we talk about? Well, you remember? Oh, actually, you know what? I didn't think this up. Oh, that's offensive. Okay. Oh no. We didn't really have a solid conversation. It was like I'd like to call it a sober conversation. Obviously, I'm listening and I've never been drunk and everything. But it was a sober conversation. We somehow went from talking to Taco Bell about little Billy walking down the street to how cranes are actually full. Okay, wait. This actually got me. How are cranes in New York built in like one day? Like, we were talking New York, like New York, the most crowded place in the U.S. Cranes just magically appeared overnight to build a new building. Like, how does it even work? Like, we talked, like, we debated this for like a whole hour. I don't know. It's an hour 20 minutes. No, 45 minutes. We talked about it for 45 minutes. But anyways, to get back on track, we also talked about all that, and then we talked about smelling gasoline. Because gasoline has no right to smell the way it does. It smells way too good. I'm sorry, I'm just being honest. It just does smell way too good. But then I did the last thing, and this is the most important thing. AKA, I told them I'm the second coolest person they'll ever meet. This was my moment. This is what I was going to use to prove the boys wrong. This is what I was going to use to let them know that I'm not a clown. I told them that, and then one of them said, okay, so, and then all kind of just stared at me after I said that. So I don't know how I kind of like explain like the whole lore behind how I came up with that. I did the same thing to them, basically. We just sat there for like 10 minutes, and I just explained to them, hey, this is how I came up with this, and you guys are supposed to say who's first, and I was supposed to say you, but they didn't do that. And then the class kind of just ended, because it's an hour and 20 minutes, and that's how long we have in the Zoom. So the conversation died down, we left the Zoom. But basically, we just had like a really long icebreaker. We got to know each other better and became like a good team. Like, it was like, okay, we have a solid chemistry. Oh the second notes. Oh no. Wait, where did I go? Oh, wait, okay, right. We became like a much better team. And then like, you remember how I said it was gonna be like an important point, and I'll get back to it in 1 minute? Like, I have horrible time management, it wasn't 1 minute, it was like 5 minutes. But I said, this is very important. The fact that our teams switch out halfway through the market period, right? It just so happened that that last day where everyone showed up was the last day that we had as a team. So all that talk that we did, the hour and 20 minutes of fun social talk, disappeared. But it's okay, like we got, sure. So who was my team for the next half of the semester? The same guys. The same guys -2, and then we got this one new girls. It was whatever. And the following week on another Wednesday, we had another meeting, of course. And that meeting was just filled with inside jokes from our social conversation. And then the girl joined the breakout room, and one of the guys introduced her, like, hey, welcome to like the best team ever. And then the issue with the new team for this course is that we need a new team name. And so we kind of just sat there thinking for a while, what was our new team name? Then I realized one thing new. This girl, we'll call her Jessica. I'm meeting her for the first time. So I unmute, and I say, guys, I'm meeting Jessica for the first time. It has to be done. It must be. And they're all trying to be like, oh my gosh, let's go. And I'm like, Jessica, I'm the second coolest person you will ever know. And she's like, okay, what? Okay, good job. And it just doesn't work. I used to think this idea was amazing, but it doesn't work because no one asks who's first. So you just kind of stand there saying you're the second coolest person, and they just stare at you back like, okay, good job. You know, then no one asks who's first. So I don't know, if you want the punchline to work, I guess you have to ask them who's first. Like, hey, I'm the second coolest person you'll ever meet, who's first? And then maybe they ask. I don't know. But anyways, after another film, kind of just went back to brainstorming ideas for our team name. And then I realized another thing. We spent so long trying to think of a team name, but I just realized that this is genius. I unmuted it again, like I always do. And I said, guys, why are we taking so long about this? We're just the second coolest team. And this joke has basically become this part of my life that I can't get rid of. But everyone agreed, we are now the second coolest team. But there's one more catch. We have to call the professor into the breakout room and let him know that that's our team that we agreed on. Seems pretty normal, right? Until one of them says, I bet you to do it to the professor. Oh. I'm like, oh. Well, you know how I said I'm a pretty energetic and straightforward guy? I'm also a risk taker, which is why I'm up here on stage. I'm also a risk taker, so I did it. And I'm quivering, like I'm terrified of doing this, because I don't know how the professor's going to react, because all his lectures are asynchronous. So there's like no interaction except on Mondays and Wednesdays that we have on Slack. But basically, I sat there for like 10 minutes and mentally, physically preparing for what I was going to do, and like I was going to invite him to the breakout room and tell him 2 things, right? So I literally prepared a mental script before I invited him to the breakout room. And they all just patiently waited because they wanted to see what was going to happen. And so I thought I was ready. I prepared my script in my head, and I pressed invite post. Little did I know that my little brother just decides, okay, this is the most perfect time. My 8-year-old brother is like, okay, this is the most perfect time to start knowing my other brother, right? He knocks on the door, he starts screaming. I don't even know what he's asking, but there's just some gibberish. And so I just yell at him. I'm unmuted, brother. I yell at him. Shut up! I'm trying to focus. This is very important. I'm scared. I'm terrified. And he runs away. And everyone on the Zoom with the cameras on is just dying of laughter. And on that moment, the professor joins the room. And I turn around and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. Hi, professor. I have 2 things of equal importance to tell you. Number 1, our team name is now the second coolest team. And number 2, and at this point I was like, about to die of laughter, but number 2, I'm the second coolest guy you'll ever know. he kind of just looked at me. He's like, okay, you're the second close person. I was like, no, okay, question mark. And now I actually don't know what happened, so I have to look at my script again. Wait, let me see. What did he say? He's like, okay, yeah, you're the second coolest person ever. I'm like, yeah, who's first? Because obviously he didn't ask. No one asked, remember? And so I'm like, okay, who's first? It's like you, professor, you're the first. And I'm like, hoping to see the words. He's like, the coolest person ever. And he just laughs. You guys are very weird. I don't think it was in a rude way. I think it was like in a funny way. In a laughing manner, of course. But yeah, and then I realized at that moment, I had to explain to him everything. So what I did to the guys on the team, what I'm doing to you guys right now, I did to the professor. I went back and explained the whole lore to the professor who doesn't care because he just wants to put our team name, but he listens to the lore, and now our team name is the second to this team. Now at this point, I actually don't have anything else on the script, but there is one more thing I do want to talk about, and it's one more application of this. And it's a real life scenario. I said that if it's not real. As if it's not real. But anyways, I met this guy, we'll call him Tom. I met this guy, Tom, through Discord. We were just studying like, physics and calculus, and chemistry, not calculus, for engineering. We were studying together. And we had some small talk going, we were kind of twinning. I realized me and Tom are basically the same exact person. We have like the same interests, like we think the same way, and I realized, wait, this might work on Tom. So I asked Tom. No, I don't ask him. I say, Tom, I'm the second coolest person you'll ever know. He's like, who's first? I'm like, Tom, where have you been my whole life? You ask the question. He says, who's first? He's confused. I say, you're first, Tom. You are first. You're such a legend. You actually responded the way you're supposed to respond. And I love Tom so much because we actually twin. But I have to introduce this character called, it's a girl. We'll call her Jerry. It's Tom and Jerry. I love Tom and Jerry. We'll call her Jerry because Tom and Jerry. But basically, I know Jerry from a study group. Like I met her from a study group, so I know her. I met her in person. But I've never met Tom in person because I don't know who it is. A lot was happening with Tom after I told him, the punchline, and he understood. And I told him the lore. Like I went back and explained everything to him. I also said the plug for Miss NJ, the fundraiser, for the donuts. He liked donuts, so he bought the donuts. There's an issue. Tom doesn't have Venom, so he got his Venom. I was like, okay, this is pretty sus. I'm not going to use Venom. I'm not in person. I'm like, okay. When we want to meet, it says Tuesday. Everything happens on Tuesday. He says Tuesday, so we meet up. We plan to meet up on Tuesday in person. But I don't know Tom. I've never seen him in person. So I'm not going to find him. Well, I just keep on texting him, but he doesn't respond. It turns out that Tom was sitting with Jerry. Now, Tom and Jerry, they know. It doesn't funny when I say Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry, they know each other. They have a physics class together. So they were sitting with each other because Jerry, we come from Tom with friends. And I know Jerry, but I don't know Tom because I've never met Tom in person. And Tom doesn't know me because he's never met me in person. But I saw Jerry. And so I walked up to Jerry and said, hey Jerry, how are you doing? And I realized the person sitting next to Jerry, or sitting with Jerry, is Tom. And so I went out, I'm like, Tom? I was like, Malik? Cool. And I sit down with him. And Tom gives me the money. And ironically enough, another one of my friends who actually bought from the donuts as well, he forgot to give me the money on Monday night. So he actually happened to be there, just in the vicinity. Okay, vicinity. And he just saw me. It was like, oh my gosh, I didn't give him not the money, so I'm gonna walk over there and give him the money. I didn't see him, but he walks up to me, he's like, here's the money. And Tom gives me the money as well, and Jerry was just watching, so why is everyone giving you money? So I said, that's pleasure, it's essential. You should buy one. Jerry did that. So screw Jerry, but it's okay. What Jerry did is fine. We understand donuts are not something that everyone wants, but it's okay. Anyway, Jerry didn't buy donuts. And Tom was helping Jerry with a chem problem, and they had like a notebook. And I looked over, I'm trying to see what problem they're doing so maybe they can follow along. And I noticed that the pencil that Tom is holding is the same pencil as mine. And I'm like, wait, me and Tom have the same pencil. We're twinning in literally everything. It's so funny. And I always scream out, Tom, we have the same pencil, but I don't. I hold it in because they're like very focused on the problem. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'll hold it in. Maybe I can use this later, but that's foreshadowing because I do use it. And so they finished working on the problem, and Jeremy realized from the first day that we interacted, she's like, are you guys meeting each other for the first time in person? And so I looked at Tom, almost like, look back at Jerry, like, yeah, we're meeting each other for the first time in person. But then I'm actually proud of myself for doing this. I said, Tom, pick up your pencil. And so I'm not looking at him. I can see him looking at me in my peripheral. I'm just staring at Jerry in the eyes. And then he picks up his pencil. I pick up my pencil. And she just freaks out. She's like, what the heck? You guys have the same pencil. And Tom later on, I talked to him later on, he's like, how did you do that? He's like, how did you know that we have the same pencil? I'm like, what are you doing? And so we just have the same pencil. And yeah. Is that it? Wait. Is that all I wanted to talk about? Yeah, I think that's it. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, I'm done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you. All right, so up next, wow, that was great. All right, so up next we have Al-Wafan presenting our Rafiq Lusana. Here you go.
So this was actually a poem that I wrote for one of my friends. So basically advice that I was trying to give to her. So it's called Ar-Rafiqul A'la, or the companionship of the Most High. We look to impress these people in our lives. So busy are we in that we forget for what we strive. Seeing Instagram stories of everyone hanging out, you feel empty inside and think, why was I left out? You wonder why they hate you. You pull a strong face every time, and seeing it hurts you, and you cry past your bedtime. People, they're not permanent. We cross paths now and then, some for a reason. It is according to his plan. But how can good relations come with the beings on this earth when the one that controls our mind, we just push him further and further? He is our wali, our companion, our friend, and we know it in our hearts that he will be our end. On good terms and bad, when life crumbles before our eyes, we only turn to the one, the everlasting, the wise. Ar-Rafiqul A'la, the companionship of the Most High, the last words of our prophet that we should try to apply, try to achieve that friendship in the hereafter, of course, but start in this world so that there is no remorse. People are imperfect, sadly mean and superficial, but Allah will be there always with a relationship that is solely beneficial. No matter what you do, people's opinions may not change. But that doesn't matter when Allah's pleasure is in range. Don't be sad, Allah is with you and loves you so dear. The pleasure of others is extra, our goal is clear. Allah, you are the priority, you are the best of friends. We don't seek validation from humans, only on you do we depend. Sure, we may not have been invited on this earth to all those hangouts and those parties, but imagine the joy of your friend Allah inviting you into his paradise, وَادْخُلِي جَنَّةً.
Thank you, Heba. So we're going to just take a quick break from the word salam. Okay, so never mind. Our next presenter is Anu, and she will be presenting terms and conditions.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I will give you a trigger warning now if you have a rough relationship with your parents, if you have trouble forgiving people, and if you're like me and you're very good at holding grudges and holding on to hatred, yeah, there's your warning. And a little more context to what it took to write this, because I haven't written anything in 3 months. I was changing my boyfriend's tires on Sunday, and I broke 3 of my nails. And while writing this, I broke the rest off of my teeth because I was having a mental breakdown. Terms and conditions. For my entire life, all I've ever wanted to do was grow up. I always wanted to be independent and choose the person I wanted to be. That's probably why I was never one to read terms and conditions. When I was younger, my mother taught me my education and always came first. Now I have test anxiety. When I was younger, I was told to maintain myself the way one maintains God. My therapist tells me I have God complex. When I was a child, I could only eat what was being offered to me. So when my mother fed me glass, I had no other choice but to eat it. Now that I'm older, I've learned to take the glass shards from my mouth and turn them into a crown, thus feeding my God complex. When I was younger, my mother taught me to use my tongue to sharpen knives. She says metal just doesn't do the same thing. Now, my words cut throats. When I was younger, my mother always taught me to eat my fill before serving others. And now the people around me starve. When I was younger, my mother never taught me how to clean. She taught me how to use vinegar to get rid of blood and to properly stitch wounds properly. When I was younger, she told me about my father, how I'm the spitting image of him. And now I can't stand mirrors. When I was younger, my mother taught me about butterflies and how they're made. She taught me that I need to look forward to the butterfly phase of my life, when I'm in full bloom. I don't know how to appreciate the caterpillar part of your life, or the cocoon part for that matter. My mother taught me to keep my head down and do as I'm told, and just skate it all through. I wish I could have told her that being the stick in the mud is not worth being uncomfortable. Because she for sure never taught me that. When I was younger, my mother told me I could tell her anything. Now that I'm older, I can't think what it is that I can actually tell her about. See, conversations with my mother usually go like this. Mom, let me tell you about my day. I'm too tired to listen. Mom, let me tell you about the man that I love. Let me tell you about the woman that I love. Yeah, how does that work? Are you like cheating on one with the other, dating both at the same time? Mom, let me tell you about my craziest, wildest experiences in life. Yeah, I would know. I finance them. Mom, let me tell you about my favorite music and my favorite books. I don't understand how you listen to such music or why you read those kinds of books. Mom, can you help me with my jacket? The zipper is stuck and I can't get it on. No, I'm not helping you now in fast. Mom, can I tell you about my future aspirations? My dreams? Whatever they are, as long as it's not on my dollar, I'm good. Mom, let me tell you about how we both can heal. Just because you're broken doesn't mean I am. Mom, can I tell you about how you hurt me growing up? How was I supposed to know that you would take that to heart, that you would remember every single thing I said? Why can't you let things go? Mom, can I tell you about how your mother hurt you growing up? You can't tell me anything about my mother. You weren't there. Mom, can I tell you about why I don't want to have kids? It's because I'm terrified of hurting them in ways I don't know, in the same way you hurt me in ways you don't know, and in the same way child at the same time. You never told me that I could ask for help or make mistakes. You never told me that I could do anything I wanted to. You never told me I could cry. You never told me that being a woman was actually a lot of fun. You never told me you loved me outside of my role as your daughter, and you never told me you loved me as your daughter either. You never told me to read all your terms and conditions. That's it.
Thank you. Alright, so next up, we will have Amina presenting Lost in the Tube. Welcome, everyone.
I'm not a poet at all. This is my first time performing in any poetry piece, so that's my little trigger warning, I guess.
Strolling down in the tulip nursery, in your arms really close to me. We take advantage of the time, thinking that everything is fine. But we don't go back to the nursery, thinking, oh, we'll have time. But you see, April showers bring May flowers. We focus on the small lessons for now. Say Bismillah before you come down. This is what we focus on, what you taught me. But I wanted a crash course on the other discoveries. Discoveries on my first fast, my first sadhgah, my hijab, and what about your past? We take advantage of the little things because after April, what will May bring? April showers bring May flowers. But as the clouds are coming, you are going. You are going, and I am crying. I am crying. Don't you hear me crying, begging, screaming? No, 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 stop! Please don't go. Grown-up Mathematijan, don't cry, my love. Because April showers bring May flowers, but then comes June. We don't get July. We have to say goodbye and not see you soon. 11 years later, it doesn't get any easier, and I'm in the nursery waiting for you. Thank you, Mom. And you guys are going to be crying. These are amazing. Alright, so our next person is Adnan and his spoken word piece.
Hi, everybody. I have a couple pieces. I write really long pieces, so I brought some, a few today. You guys have haikus?
Yeah, you guys know haikus?
Haikus are three-line poems, 5 syllables, first line, 7 syllables, second line, 5 syllables, third line. I was like them, so I wrote a couple from Miss. I really love this. I love haikus, so we combine it. Haiku number 1. More than a weekend gave me a chance to stay alive. More than a lifetime. Number 2. Reason to love missed. Everyone that's there is great. What else can I say? Number 3. Aliens found us. They want to compete in art. Wouldn't that be cool? This is a poem that I wrote, and it's called The Sincere in Me. The strength of a stone is in its sincerity. Its will to stand still in a place of despair. There's no chill that makes it ill, no heat that brings calamity. The strength of a stone is in its sincerity. Its will to stand still in a place of despair. There's no chill that makes it ill, no heat that brings calamity. The only thing it falls to is when water flows sincerity. Because water has no aim. It goes where it's will to bring its own prosperity, asking nothing in return but the good for all humanity. Yet it rises to the sun as it shines with its sincerity. And as that sun holds us still, while we drift through life so merrily, I often ask myself and ask my Lord to bless me with my own sincerity. My last one is actually on my phone, because I lost the paper. So I have to rewrite it in my notes. This poem actually I wrote as a spoken word piece for Mist in 2017. And I revised it a couple of times. In 2017, the theme was, I don't remember the exact words. I don't remember the exact words. It's one about perfection and like
Striving for imperfection in an imperfect world.
striving for imperfection in a perfect world. Thank you for remembering that. So that was the theme that most people's work was revolved around. So I did mine, and the title was Beauty. So, beauty. B. For the belief that we are as beautiful as we could possibly be. To not look at you and feel the blues because your looks are better than me. E. For the word that every person wishes they could be. A. To use the days that we give away to not shame ourselves but elevate the image seen in the mirrors that we check from day to day. Because you, yes, you, it's usually crucially important that we mutually support each other, standing hand in hand in unity. T, to tell off those telling us what looks flea, like the media using us as mediums to sell their overpriced clothes and makeup on TV. Why? Why? Why do we allow ourselves to get so caught up in the physical temporaries of life? Why? Why do we find ourselves prioritizing what is so unjust to ourselves, cutting our self-esteem down with our very own knives? Why do we feel the need to look the best with perfect teeth when the smiles that we came with were already good enough? Why has beauty become the impossible internalization that has us yearning for some sort of satisfaction but always come out feeling vacant? Why are our women given the task of achieving beauty rather than it being a given? She wants to look pretty for him, but he has no value in the word pretty. No definition, just images, unachievable looks, because now Photoshop is what's pretty, ain't it? See, we have been robbed of what we once used to see as nothing less than perfect, even if everything didn't look perfectly. Let's take back the vision that was first given and refute that which is the new perfect. See, they say beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. So hold on to that beauty and don't let those perceptions lose their order. Because we are a generation with so much to offer. Worrying over our image and the image of others does justice to no one, no sister, no brother. So as we stand in our reflections, understand there's no objection because you look the way you look, and that is nothing less than perfection. Thank you.
So it's going to be in the same place as we prayed Asr in Libby's Lounge prayer.